Is 3 intellect enough if we cheat on our resources otherwise? Let's have a look at some data doll. Hi friends, welcome back to Nearly Sane Games. I'm Neil, and today we're going to be taking a look at a blitz deck for data doll. Let's get into it. Alright, let's take a quick look and see what this deck wants to do. First off, we're going to have our 3-card hand, and ideally what we'd like to do is to first drop a boost card, and that boost card we would like to boost and get an item out of it. Here we got an optical monocle. So now that we've boosted, we're going to first off use that optical monocle to see to start scrying. Here's a T-bone. I think we'll put that on bottom. And here's Dissipation Shield. This is another thing that we want to do, is make sure that we have a good amount of our defensive mech items. So we're going to leave that on top. And we are going to pay to use the Techno Foundry Heart. And we're going to take the top 2. And we get a zipper hit and a Dissipation Shield. And this is how we gain value. Now, let's opt again to see what we're going to get there. A Dissolution Sphere. That's pretty good. Maybe we leave that on top. And then we can pitch, load up our pistol, fire that, and load that back up. And then we can prepare for the next turn. And microprocessor is really what we want to get on the board. This allows us to do anything that we need to do. Being able to draw a card and put a card back on top means that we can stack the top of our deck for whatever we want. But essentially what we want to do is boost a card, use our Techno Foundry Heart, get more resources, and either drop another item or be able to load up our pistol multiple times and keep shooting that. Alright, let's take a look at this deck a little bit. We'll start with Data Doll Mark II. Her ability is whenever a Mechanologist item with cost 2 or less is put into the banish zone from your deck, put it into the arena. That's the ability we're going to try to abuse the most. But to counter that, she has a 3 intellect, which means we only get to draw up to 3 cards at the end of our turn. And she has 20 power. So hopefully we can abuse that to make that downside not so bad. For our weapon, we're going to use a Techno Plasma Pistol. We can fire this as many times as we can reload it and keep shooting. So 2 attack, 2 attack, 2 attack. That's what we're trying to go for. Now for a chess piece, this is a mandatory chess piece, is the Techno Foundry Heart. Not only does it have Battle Worn 2, so we can block with it twice, but the ability is once per turn action, banish the top 2 cards of your deck, gain 1 resource for each Mechanologist card banished this way, activate this ability only if you have boosted this turn. We want to use this every turn to really abuse Data Doll's power. So that's our hope. For the headpiece, skull cap, we need to have that extra block available to us, and we need all the block we can get in our armor. So there's that. For the feet, we have one piece, mostly Achilles Accelerator. We can destroy this and get an action point, but this is also our Arcane Barrier piece. Not bad for us. Ironhide Gauntlet. We're going to want to have good defensive blocking. We're going to be at a pretty good chance of running out of cards because we're going to be boosting so much and pouring out the cards from our deck. So paying 1 to defend for 2 will be pretty good. We also have the helm and the legs in here if we need to have a little bit extra block. We're always going to be running the Foundry Heart, but there's a possibility that we drop a blue and we can block for 6 for 1 turn. We also run a little bit of Null Rune. Remember, our legs also have Null Rune on it, so That's just in case. All right, taking a look at our deck. First off, we're going to want some cheap boost. T-Bone is a great boost card for us because it costs 0 and allows us to boost. Also allows forces the opponent to block with equipment. I don't think that's such a great ability, but since you boost with T-Bone, that counts as boosted on the combat chain, so it can activate its own ability. So we're running full 6 T-Bone. 0 to 60, a little bit more power, but again, a 0 cost boost card. We're going to be running all 6 of those. And Zipper Hit. Zipper Hit costs us 1, but gives us a little bit more power yet, and keeps that boost train going. We want to be boosting every turn. And we have a couple of throttles in here to get some bigger power and another blue to have for us. Now we're going to get into our items, and we have a good number of items here. First off, we want to protect our life total, so the important thing is to get some of these defensive items out first. So Absorption Dome comes out with counters equal to the number of boosts that we've done this turn, and if we were dealt damage, we can prevent that damage. Dissipation Shield comes out with 4 steam counters and gets less each turn, and we can destroy it to block some damage. Dissolution Sphere stays out for 2 turns, but lets us block exactly 1 damage. Now that 1 damage can come from just like a Kadachi, or it could come from something that has 4 power that we block for 3, and there's exactly 1 damage left over. That would also block that. So potential to do some good things. And then Signal Jammer kind of slows down our opponent a little bit, hopefully, and allows them to only play 1 non-attack action each turn. All right. Then we're going to go to Optical Monocle. This is very important because this allows us to opt. We can decide what's on top of our deck. If it's a boost card, we can put it on the bottom and try to get our items on top so that when we do boost or when we do use Tekla Foundry Heart, we're getting item value off of that. And then Microprocessor. This is what I think makes this deck even possible. This is a data dial specialization, but it allows us to opt 1 or draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your deck, or just banish the top card of your deck. So this really lets us set up our boost or our banishing. And the first time you use it, you gain another action point. So you can use it twice per turn. And really make sure that you're going to get an item out on the field. And now we're going to come up to our pistol support. Induction Chamber allows us to fire our pistol another time. And if we get 2 of them on the board, then we can be doing a lot of pistol shooting, which is very good for us. Plasma Purifier, we're only running 1 of these, but this allows us to power up our pistol and make it a 3-power attack rather than a 2-power attack. Tekla Powder allows us to boost our boost cards, and once per turn we remove a steam counter, and our boost card gets +2, which is a really good power up. So we got 2 of those. And then we've got Hyperdriver, which will, when we boost, give us more resources. This isn't a very resource-heavy deck, but there's a possibility that we can get free resources or cheap resources to finish our turn and play an item from our hand. And then we have a couple of Fate Foreseen. Running Fate Foreseen over Sink Below because we like to have the opt. We like to know what's on top of our deck and be able to set that up. And so that's the deck. What this does well is it can spit out a bunch of items pretty quickly. The lack of intellect really doesn't hurt us in the early game because there's a chance we're putting out 2 or 3 items each turn, and that's like those items having go again. So drop an item, it doesn't cost us anything, and we can go again after that. The thing that this deck really does poorly is endgame. If we can load up, we want to be shooting this pistol very quickly and still using our boost to manage that. If we fail to do that and we get into late game, we've only got 3 cards, and in that case, we're talking about blocking with 2 cards and maybe having 1 card to either boost or fire up the pistol, and that's going to give us very poor pressure. Ideally, it would be a blue card that we can fire the pistol twice, but not really going to put on endgame pressure. We need to keep that pressure early on. We need to give our opponent a false sense of security because they're playing against Data Doll and they're going to make mistakes early on and let us do a lot of damage. But I think that in the end, it's not going to be a very strong deck, because if you get in that late game, if you get into a blocking situation, you're just not gonna have the cards to do that. So early on, I would try to block from hand and still keep the boost going. Ideally, we want to boost every turn and use Tekla Foundry Heart every turn. And if we can do that, that's all the cards that we need. So we can block with other cards that we don't have. Towards the end of the game, it should be, well, we hopefully, we really need to get that pressure. We need to get that build up early on and be able to lean on some of our items that block for us in order to try to push extra damage through. It's a difficult deck, and it's not going to, like I said, it doesn't close out games very well. So that's going to be the challenge. It's fun, though. There's a lot of things going on, and we'll get a lot of items on the table. It's just whether or not those items can give you enough at the right time to finish out the game. So there's the deck. Let me know what you think of it, and we will talk to you soon. So until next time, I'm Neil, and this has been Nearly Sane Games.